Gotta start the day with a savory fare. Evening rolls around, time to chill and unwind. Tune in for chill streams where relaxation you'll find. Come hang out, let's battle for Lord of the Board. Hatcher's got the insights, he's got us all aboard. In the world of magic, the gathering, he's a master and a guide. So let's talk MTG and take the ride. So let's talk MTG and take the ride. From all fun, prepare to subscribe. You never want to miss the vibe. Hatcher is the master of MTG. Oh, live streams and videos are never a bore. Streams are fun, super chaotic. You'll be back as it's all hypnotic. Come hang out, let's battle for Lord of the Board. Hatcher's got the insights, he's got us all on board. In the world of magic, the gathering, he's a master and a guide. So let's talk MTG and take the ride.
What's up, my friends? How you doing? It's the middle of the long weekend Monday, and Carly has gone out with one of her friends to have lunch, which left me on my own. She's like, you gotta figure out your own food. And I considered just sadly eating some random sandwich meat and some nuts. But then I decided, you know what? I walked by Tim Hortons a bunch of times. I've seen like the pizza ads that they have, and I've been curious. So why not try it out? You know? Anyways, I know that the live stream's not happening at the normal time, so I better share the link in the Discord. But I also don't want to wait too long to crack into this, because it's got me wondering, does basically like every... Hold on. That's really annoying. There we go. Somebody blasting some kind of leaf blower or something. Anyways, let's share the link. Okay. There we go. Looking at the thumbnail, that little pizza looks upside down. But anyways, when it comes down to the pizza stuff, my brain goes, oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to need I guess I'm going to need some napkins. See, I'm not normally ready for a random trying out new food kind of stream. So I've done my best to try and keep it at like a reasonable temperature, you know? That's like, does everybody who reviews food who's not literally sitting in a drive-thru like 1 second after they got it, are they all eating cold food? Do you know? Like, I don't know. I never thought too much about it, but That was something that was popping into my head. Anyhow, what up, Gossett, Keebler, Kenzuki, Cosmic, Eng, Millmaster, Hayes, Zircon, Shelton, CU. That's right, Noon Pizza Stream. Does the Tim Hortons I went to have tables and chairs? Yes. Yes, it does have tables and chairs, although there are some located around the city that don't have tables and chairs. So, Hayes, a midday Hatcher mukbang wasn't on your bingo card. Fair enough. It wasn't really on mine at first, but I figured this is it's still. I got this heater bag, which does a good job of keeping things at a reasonable temperature. So, I got it here in the box. It's feeling pretty hot still, actually, so that's good. I hustled fast enough. I'm gonna see. Hold on. Let's open it up and let's see if I can work the camera down angle to let you guys see. Okay, good. It's actually working. I should have checked that beforehand. But this was impromptu. Okay, so what? Oh, that doesn't actually look too bad at all. I got to see the process of them making it. So ultimately, I'm very curious to see how this is going to taste. Watching them make it, the only thing I thought was, it seems like they put a reasonable amount of cheese on it, but they might be skimping on the sauce, right? So let's see here. Okay, it's still warm, so that's good. Then you got, all right. Obviously, the proof is in how it tastes. Okay, I think that was a bite without pepperoni. Let me try it with pepperoni. And a little bit of crust. All right, so I will admit that I had low expectations for the pizza and thought it wouldn't be that good. But it's all right. It's all right. It doesn't like jump out at you with flavor. The pepper. Actually, hold on. Let me try the pepperoni on its own. Let me try a piece of pepperoni on its own. Pepperoni's got a decent amount of flavor to it. The dough is really soft. Like, it's a flatbread, right? So flatbread's already previously made. They made and cooked the pizza in a total of about 3 minutes. So it was super fast, like super fast. I'd put it close to... Okay. The actual outer part without anything on it isn't very good at all. It's just middle of the road, whatever. This is going to end up competing on the same level as like a frozen grocery store pizza, you know? Compared to pizza places, this isn't going to compete. Especially at the price point they have it at. It's like $8. It's $8 for this. And for like $10 to $12, you can get a full-size like takeout, like walk-in special at a bunch of places. So this is, I mean, what you get, the size that it is, it's a little bit bigger than I thought it would be, but at the price point, I don't think that it's really worth it. What? Millmaster coming in with Tim Horton facts. He died at 44? Really? So, it's whatever pizza. This is like whatever pizza, honestly. I'd go to literally any pizza place before this, even what I consider to be low rent pizza, like Pizza Pizza. The Pizza downtown makes not very good pizza, but I would choose that over this. This is, I mean, I'm going to eat more of it because this is my lunch and I spent the money on it, but the sauce tastes weird on its own. Huh. It's altogether, it's a mostly bland, but you can eat it experience. Heavy metal, I don't know if they make them the same in the States. I presume they use all the same stuff, but who knows? They might have different ingredients based on different laws. Rated serviceable. Yep. That's about the size of it, honestly. It's not an exciting lunch. It's not an exciting lunch. Unfortunately. I had higher hopes for this, especially when I saw it. I was like, oh, all right. And now I'm just like, They definitely did skimp on the sauce. But since the sauce is kind of weird, I don't mind. The more I eat of it, the less I enjoy it. Full disclosure, I got fucking high before I ate this too, hoping that would help improve the taste. And I'm not talking about smoking, so that didn't impact my ability to taste things. I feel like if you gave somebody this and just asked them what it tasted like, I don't think they would say that it tastes like pizza. Ugh. Okay. Ugh. I think I'm just going to pick the pepperoni off. Habanero asks if I was trapped in an airport and was craving pizza, but the only pizza was at Tim Hortons, would I order it? No. This is not going to satisfy your cravings for pizza. I don't believe it will, genuinely. The pepperoni has the most flavor to it. Let me try a little bit of cheese on its own. Like, I just pulled cheese off, right? And I don't know how well you can see it, but there's no sauce here. There's like no... I watched her make it, and they just draw little lines of sauce on it. The cheese by itself has a tiny bit of flavor. The flavor is really coming from the pepperoni. And I do like meat in my mouth, so... Zircon, the fact that the box wasn't square made you not have high hopes? Holy, all right, man. You're even more judgy than I am. So, I think I've eaten enough of this to make up my mind. I would not buy this again. I would not purchase this again. Ugh. Now, I'm not like obviously a food review expert or anything. I don't have a whole bunch of different points that I rate food on. And, there's a lot of foods I probably would be completely unqualified to judge. I'd still judge them, but I'd be unqualified to judge it. But for pizza, I've had a ton of pizza in my life. A ton. And I'm willing to accept some pretty low tier pizza. But this pizza is to the level where I think probably a good way to rate it is if your friend ordered a pizza or whatever and was like, you can have some, would you have some of this or not? You're not paying for it. It's free. It's right there. You had to put no effort into getting it, all of it, right? And under those circumstances, there's a lot that I would willingly have, but this isn't it. Tim Hortons Pizza gets a thumbs down from me. I have to give them credit over at the Tim Hortons for the amount of time that they took to get this ready, because I was thinking to myself, okay, be ready. Like, I brought my headphones over and I was like, I'll just listen to an audiobook or something while I wait for the pizza. I know that they're busy in those places and I don't expect them to be like hopping to it. I expect pizzas are going to take time. If I go to a regular pizza place, it's going to be at least 10 to 15 minutes to get a pizza, right? So that's kind of the level I judge it on. But it took them less than 3 minutes to make and cook the pizza, which I found genuinely impressive in terms of turnaround time. I went, okay, this is like, they gave it to me. It was hot. They got it done fast. Unfortunately, the end product just isn't something that is for me. Now, different people have different like palates, right? So maybe the flavor of their particular sauce or cheese or whatever, or the flatbread, whatever it is, it might work for you. But for me, it's a no. For me, it's a big no. It's not something I would have. That's right. I wouldn't eat it even for free. 100%. 100%. Zircon, you haven't found acceptable pizza since you moved to the West Coast? You have way higher standards than me, man. Way higher standards. It doesn't take that much for me to be happy, but it's awful. See, heavy metal, I can get down with Domino's. I'll have Domino's, I'll have Little Caesars, I'll have pizza. Like, I will have pizza from the lowest tiers of pizza places and mostly be okay with it, right? So, this is unfortunate. Maybe I shouldn't have decided to have this as my lunch and just randomly try it otherwise, But I've made a mistake. Hey, BL, what's the best pizza I've ever had? I don't know. No particular pizza screams out to me as like the best pizza. I mean, I really like Pizza Hut's pizza, but I know that is not like top shelf. Oh my God, people, that's high quality. But like when it comes to like junk food level pizza, they were great. Pizza Hut's great. And I guess if you want something slightly fancy, you know what? Score's Pizza's pretty good. Score Pizza downtown's pretty good. Bella Noella used to be good when they had their previous owners, and then they ended up going downhill. So at one point, their pizzas were great, and then just dealing with that business at all became really obnoxious. So kind of fell by the wayside. Do I have a preferred pizza style? I'm a pretty easy to please guy. Just like regular old pepperoni pizza will do it. You can put bacon on it as well. I can get down with that. Like it tends to be just mostly meat oriented. That's the majority of it. I don't really care for peppers and stuff like that on pizza, and I'm not interested in olives, all that goodness. So, well, it's not goodness to me, but it is to other people. Meat, man, meat, 100%. Juglum, is the pizza any good? Nah, not really. I was able to eat some of it. I was able to eat some of it, And it's like, it's just very underwhelming. It's not something where you have a bite of it and you're like, this is disgusting, I can't eat it, thankfully, because I did pick it up hungry, and I have been looking forward to eating it. When I got back with it, I was running around getting everything ready so that I could do the stream, going, I hope it stays at a reasonable temperature. And if I had known what I was in for, I would not have been in as much of a rush, right? It's just like, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. There's a lot of great pizza places that have reasonable pizza, and when it's like, it's $8. $8 is no good. So they definitely did a very good job of getting it ready fast, but ultimately the ingredients chosen for it don't come together in a satisfying way. Like, this pizza is worse than random food court pizza that I've had, where you're at like the science center or something like that, and you're just getting some unknown pizza. You don't know what it is, and it just turns out to be better than this, you know? Shelly, that's right. It's an afternoon trying a pizza for lunch and being disappointed with the bad choices you've made. Not enough for me to angrily rant, unfortunately, either. It's just like it's a below average pizza that I don't feel like eating anymore and wouldn't eat for free. So I paid for it. But whatever. I've been curious about it for a while now. I was like, I wonder if they can do a reasonably good pizza. And the answer is no. No. I was debating between the pizza or going to Wendy's and getting a chicken sandwich, because they got a deal on chicken sandwiches right now. And I was like, my chicken sandwich is pretty good, but I want to try that pizza. And ultimately what decided me was I could do a live stream where I come and hang out for a bit. Carly's gone anyways. Have some pizza. I expected it to be better. I expected to be able to eat the whole thing. So there is that. There is that. Pizza's disappointing, such is life. Correct. Shelly, all corporate pizza's the worst? Not to me, man. Not to me. I'm way less picky with pizza than I am with other kinds of food. So I'm pretty easy to please with pizza. Whenever I find out, like, what's being ordered? Pizza? Okay, I'll be good. It's like, what's being ordered? Sandwiches? It's like, oh Lord, I'm gonna get something put together with a bunch of ingredients that I don't like. I'm not a big fan of like random sandwich ordering, but pizza, it's pretty hard to make pizza that doesn't do anything for me. But, I mean, Tim Hortons managed it. I did like the nifty little box that it came in. I liked the variety of the rectangle shape. I liked the speed. Like, it wasn't a poor experience. The employees were quite nice and did a good job. But ultimately, the fault lies with corporate, I suppose, with the ingredients that they've selected. The pepperoni hides the fact that the rest of it doesn't really bring much flavor. And it's like, the pizza hasn't been microwaved, but the flatbread almost has an aspect of microwaved bread in terms of its, like, feel a little bit. Oh, Daniel Shelley Super Chat says, well, I got to take my place on the board first. Well, you got it, big boy. You got it. Everyone will know forevermore that you were the first one to Super Chat in this live stream where I tried an incredibly underwhelming. That's really all I can describe it as, is underwhelming, you know? It's oh, gotta put that part in too, right? There we go. Juggling, you tried Domino's bread bites and they seemed weird, almost like plastic, and then it's realized that's how Domino's crust is, so you swore off the brand. That's funny. You try a side product and it ruins the pizza for you too. Like, there's some places that use soy cheese. Pizza is, as far as I'm concerned, the least desirable pizza in the city from a pizza place. But I would eat pizza every day of the week before I would have this again. And, like, at first, I thought, oh, they actually have a deal this week going on where if you have two pizzas, then you get some bonus points in your account. And Carly collects up the points. So I was going to get her those points. I thought, you know what? I'll try a pepperoni and then I'll contrast it to another pizza. I thought, like, hey, we could do this in 2 installments and I could do a follow-up with another one of the Tim Hortons pizzas. But, like, no, bro. No, I'm not doing that. This first one was underwhelming enough that I'm out. I'm out. Huckleberry, what's overproofed dough? See, you sound like you know what you're talking about when you say stuff like that. I don't know if you do, but that sounds like you know what's up. I worked in a pizza place when I was a teenager, and I did a good job making awesome pizzas, but they had nice ingredients. That place was great. That place was great. You want pizza? Oh, no, I don't. Why would you want white sauce or any of that on your pizza? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Also, what's wrong with my internet? It seems to be gorking out randomly through this stream. Good tomatoes in the sauce and not the cheapest mozzarella. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Sometimes you just have something with like higher quality ingredients and you can tell the difference. There was this one hamburger joint in Toronto when I lived there, and their ketchup was better than the ketchup I'd had at any other restaurant ever. I was just like, wow, this ketchup, maybe they used better tomatoes, whatever it was. Like, that ketchup was awesome. And I loved that place. That place is actually what got me into having hot peppers. I'd never had hot peppers before. And just on a lark, I tried them on a burger and went, oh, I guess I do like hot peppers, you know? And not a lot, you know. I can't have very much of it, let's be real. But I do like them. But yeah, their ketchup was like next level. Thankfully for me, when I have something like that, I'm not like, I can't do without anything else. I'm just like, that was great. Now back to my regular old Heinz. ABL, what's my favorite Canadian food? I mean, what even counts as Canadian? You already listed it. Maple syrup, poutine, like... the only other Canadian stuff I can think of is awful garbage like Canadian bacon, which is just ham with pea meal rubbed on its butt. And it's awful. Awful. If I say I want bacon and you give me ham, that should be a crime. I should be allowed to beat you with a belt. I should be able to take you to your home, strip you naked, turn the water on, and beat you with a belt with the water on. Like, that's... The only thing worse than being given ham when you ask for bacon is ordering a grilled cheese and then it comes back and it's got processed cheese slices in it. And it's like, the fuck is this? You put fucking cheddar cheese in here, dickhead. You don't put random processed cheese slices. I encountered that when my parents took us on a trip to America and ordered a grilled cheese, and I got that. And it made me so sad that it's echoed down the ages, and I remember it 35 years later, right? Like, how sad is that? Thompson Wells Super Chat says, how's your day going? All this talk of pizza makes me want to have pizza for dinner, maybe with hot peppers. Do it! Do it! You guys, you need to eat pizza to balance out the scales for me, okay? Because I thought this was going to be a good time where I got to eat a pizza I was going to enjoy. And now, I mean, it is still a good time because I'm hanging out with you guys, right? And having a nice time talking with you, which ultimately actually makes this better, because if I didn't have anybody to express this to, I would just be disappointed that I didn't make myself lunch at home. I spent more money than if I were to get a chicken sandwich. You know what I mean? And then I just sat there and went, oh. So yeah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. Thanks for the super chat, Thompson. So, my favorite Canadian food, I mean, I love maple syrup on pancakes. Maple syrup is great, but poutine is the best. Out of all the Canadian options that I'm aware of, poutine is the winner, right? The fries, the gravy, the cheese curds all comes together into a delightful combination. But it also is like really rich food in terms of it is calorically dense. That is definitely the case. Oh, I wonder how many calories this pizza is. Because I have like I was in my period after I saw the doctor. I got like a period of indulgence basically, where I could just I'm gonna drink as much pop as I want, eat as much junk as I want. I'm just gonna go ham. Hooray! I don't have fucking stomach cancer. That kind of shit, right? So I'm just gonna go a little bit, whoa, because I had been holding back leading up to it. So I was like, you know what, you deserve it, indulge yourself. So I did, but I said once the fall time starts, and I decided to, even though fall doesn't start until like September 21st, I was like, I'm gonna start at the beginning of September. I am now modifying my eating habits, so I'm not going to pig out nearly as much. I've swapped out the barks that I was drinking for mostly water. If I have a real craving for a bit of caffeine and sugar, I'm going to have tea because I will drink way less of it. And it's way better for you comparatively as far as I'm concerned. Because with the pop, there's all kinds of stuff added in there, right? And if I'm being real, I was drinking it for the sugar and the caffeine. The bottled barks just tastes okay. It's not like banger. And I'm like, oh yeah. So ultimately, if I'm craving the sugar and caffeine from that, some Earl Grey tea will do the trick, right? I don't even steep it that much. So overall, water and Earl Grey, and the difference is noticeable, man. Like for real. Just yesterday, all I had was water and like half a cup of tea. And I slept so well. I hadn't been sleeping that great lately because of too much caffeine and eating way too much junk food at night. I would just cram, like, I would get a big bag of chips and then I'd pour some in a bowl because it's like, you don't want to eat out of the bag. You want to keep it under control, right? And then I'd eat that bowl, and then I'd get up and pour more into a bowl. Part of it is because I get baked in the evening, and it's like, oh, everything tastes better. So that bag of salt and vinegar chips, I'm just going to keep eating it, right? So I'll find that I've eaten 2/3 of a bag of chips, or sometimes a bit more. This is a big bag of chips, man. You don't need to eat that much, right? And then I'll have some little mini chocolate bars and stuff. Like I'm eating like a fucking fat boy pig gross man. Like oink, oink. Ganondorf, pig nose, you know, like a whole bunch of stuff. So I've limited it now. Originally, the plan was going to be don't eat after midnight, but I realized that's setting myself up for failure. So instead, don't eat after the midnight snack. So last night, instead of just going whole hog and jamming everything into my face, I poured out half a mug of cheese balls and had like 2 little Mars squares. Actually, I've got an app that that app that I was talking about before for food tracking. I'm using it again, and I'm using that as like a buffer to determine how much junk food that I'm allowed to eat as well, because I don't want to go. I'm trying to keep within the calorie budget because it's time to stop. It's time to stop gaining weight, and it's time to lose that weight, right? Because I put on a good 5 to 10 pounds in the last bit of time with my indulgence. Like I consumed a lot of calories and I've put on some extra weight. So now I'm just like reversing course. So for the snacks, I had like 250 calories worth of snacks at the end of the day. And that didn't push me over my daily calorie limit or anything like that. And it also was in a brief period of time. Like I just ate a little bit right after midnight, and then I brushed my teeth and whatever, and I waited 3 hours before going to bed. So there's no real issues. You're supposed to wait 2 or 3 hours before you go to bed after you eat, so that you don't have any like reflux problems or anything like that, right? So that's it. I was cramming myself to the brim. It was ridiculous. Sandwich mug is fine as a root beer, but it's nothing special, right? It's nothing special. Breaker, are you asking me? What? I'm not even in America, buddy. I'm in Canada. I'm in Canador. ABL, jazz tobacco is not good for a healthy diet. Well, I don't smoke it at least, right? But it's true. It makes things taste so much better. It genuinely does. Like, I like salt and vinegar chips, but when I'm cooked out, I love them. I'm like, oh. So I would just like, instead of doing what you should do, take out a big chip, bite a piece off it, bite another piece off it. You can get 3 or 4 good, enjoyable, flavorful bites off it. Instead, the whole thing into my mouth. Just, right? And then you start just taking handfuls and putting them in your mouth. It's unnecessary. It's like you can get the same flavor and enjoyment without just fisting everything into your hole. So last night, I had half of a mug of cheese balls, and I ate each one individually. And I had a tiny little Mars square. They call them Mars bites, but I got multiple bites out of it. Because the reality is, you can cram it all in, or you can take smaller bites, and you get the same enjoyment. At least I do. Maybe other people don't. But losing weight is not difficult for me. Partially because I've never gotten so big that it gives me genuine, like, real hurdles that I need to overcome in terms of, like, once you get to a certain size, moving becomes a challenge. For me, I only ever get fat when I give myself like ultra indulgence ability. So this is this only like maybe the 3rd time I've gotten a bit fatter. And I'm not even that fat compared to how fat I got when I was fat. So I just know I'm like looking at the scale and going, all right, it's time to lose some of these pounds. I know where they came from. But yeah, I just modify my eating habits, which isn't that difficult for me because most of the day I don't really crave snacks and stuff. And me and Carly were like eating a bunch of poutines as well, right? Like poutines with fried chicken and like we're eating a lot of stuff. And now I'm just like, it's all good. The Barks adds in like 800 calories or more depending on how much you're drinking, right? I was drinking a lot of pop. So we're talking, what do you need? Like 2,000, a little over 2,000 calories a day, depending on who you are, body size, age, all that shit. So like half of that in root beer, that's fine if you're not really eating anything else, but I was eating a bunch of stuff too, you know? The best salt and vinegar chips, the best that I've ever had, hands down, Ruffles. Ruffles salt and vinegar potato chips are awesome. Like so good and so flavorful. They made them many years ago and then discontinued them out of the blue for so many years. And I remember every once in a while I'd be like, oh man, why did they get rid of Ruffles salt and vinegar? And I actually went online and joined a group of people who are just like, we remember how awesome it was. Like it was like a memorial website to the memory of Ruffles salt and vinegar chips. And I went there and interacted with people on it, you know? And then one day they brought them back and I saw them in the store and I was just like, what? And then I tried them and I'm like, oh, they're still as good as ever. Ruffles salt and vinegar rule, by the way, as well, the all-dressed chip recipe got fixed. Whatever they did to turn it into dirt, they reversed it. And now Ruffles all dressed are fucking great again. And I'm very happy about that. I'm glad I took a risk on it. Me and Carly just stopped getting it all together. And Carly didn't want to try it again. But they had a deal. They had a deal on 2 big bags of chips. And I was getting a bag of Ruffles salt and vinegar anyway. So I said, screw it. I'm going to get that all dressed. And then I tried the first chip. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is good. Right? Like, this is like fucking 12:30 at night. I just opened the bag up. I'm cooked out. I have one chip in my mouth. I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. And then I just started eating it. And I was hiding it from Carly. Like, I said nothing to Carly. I didn't go, yo, Carly, all dressed chips are good again. I thought, I'm going to eat as much as I want of this. And if there's any left, she can find out tomorrow that they taste good. Like, I love her. And I will tell her so much stuff. But at that moment, I was like, I'm eating all this goodness for me. I don't care. And then I just folded the bag up, put it down on the table, and said nothing. And like, she didn't clue in because she was playing a video game or whatever to how long I had been sitting there just eating chips behind her. But bro, I ate so many and they were so good. They were so good. Oh, I wish I had some now. But it's a holiday, which means the only place to go and get that stuff is at convenience stores. And convenience stores charge horrific prices for bags of chips. Like, it's already expensive as hell it feels like at the grocery store because I've lived too long and prices have moved up too much. And then I go to a convenience store and I'm like, ah! Shelly, you remember your support group for Cheetos Paws? Bro, I love Cheetos Paws. I remember eating so many of those back during the Ultima 7 days, right? Ultima 7 Part 2, Serpent's Isle and all that. I remember eating Cheetos Paws back then, listening to Stone Temple Pilots. I have distinct memories of those. I love Cheetos Paws. They're awesome. It's too bad they discontinued them. So I feel you, man. I feel you. Millmaster, I've never seen the video of Japan's Greatest Bartender where he makes root beer from scratch at the bar. That sounds pretty cool, actually. Cape Cod salt and vinegar? Never heard of it. Yeah, never heard of that one. Hares? Never heard of that one either. There's some place that your wife wants to eat at that claims 40 different types of gravy. You mean chocolate gravy? Well, what if it's all just gravies derived from random animals, like squirrel gravy and stuff, you know? You fucking redneck bumpkins love that shit, right? you sister kissers. How is your sister wife, by the way? Ba-da-ding, ding, 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 ding. You can't find all-dressed chips anymore? That sucks. Do I like them better than Miss Vicky's? Oh, by a million times over. Miss Vicky's, they're all right. They're all right. They're not the best kettle chips that I've had, and their salt and vinegar, it does not ring my bell like Ruffles does. Kevin, they played the Nashi Duskmorn trailer before this stream too. Why? We're here to talk about pizza. Why's Nashi gotta gnash his teeth up in this one, son? What up, Farky? How you doing, buddy? So yeah, Ruffles salt and vinegar is top of the peak for me. If anybody knows better chips, fucking send me some, guys. Send me the best fucking salt and vinegar chips. Ruin my life. So that I'll be like, yo, I can't get this awesomeness. Heavy metal, fuck yeah, bro. Stone Temple Pilots are great, and King's Quest V was a hell of a lot of fun. If I'm remembering it correctly, you got that smart-ass owl who watches you just die and stuff, and it's like, you're a dick, bro. Those games were fun. Sometimes, though, they were really specific with what you had to do, and it didn't feel like it made sense. Like, it made sense to whoever made the game, but as somebody playing the game, it's just kind of like, huh? You'll check out Canadian Ruffles on Thursdays? Do it up. Do it up when you're in Winnipeg. Get all dressed and salt and vinegar. Those are my recommendations. Millmaster says, Uncle Bubba always said, as long as the roadkill was in the ditch and not squished down the road, it was safe to eat. That's a good rule of thumb. That's funny. Jimmy John's makes their own chips. First I'm hearing of it, Juggling, but I guess since I've never been to Jimmy John's. It's a restaurant, right? Oh, yeah. I love food, but I have a problem in that I'm really picky. I'm really picky with my food, too. There's lots of things that I don't like. And it feels like a lot of the time when I try something new, I'm going to hate it. You know, like that's just my gut feeling because that's been my experience. I tend to stick to a certain tier of things that I'm already familiar with and good with, and don't really bring anything new into the mix, man. I'm becoming. No, it's not useless in the kitchen because that's not the case. I can still cook. I make my own breakfast every day, right? So it's not like I'm incapable of cooking. But like when Carly goes away for lunch, I'm just like, I could make my own lunch or I could jump off the roof, you know? Like those both sound about the same to me. If I have to make my lunch, it's going to be cutting off a chunk of cheddar, grabbing a box of crackers, and just eating cheese and crackers. Carly always gets annoyed at me that the way I feed myself when she's not around. But like, for real, I don't care most of the time enough. Like, I care to make my breakfast. I'm gonna cook that bacon. I'm gonna flip the egg into the bacon grease, all that goodness. But like, Carly makes awesome lunches and dinners and puts a bunch of effort into it. And I've never put that level of effort into meals. And so I'm just like, I've become accustomed to eating her great food. And I understand how our air fryer functions. Like, I understand the principles of using the air fryer. But she cooks everything in the air fryer. And I think the one time I used it to learn how it works was, okay, here, whatever, do this and this. And I'm like, okay, cool, got it. But I have no concept of how long any food should go into it, any of that. So I'd have to do a whole bunch of trial and error shit, like those dudes from the 50s, where when their wife died, like, I don't even know how to use a stove. I know how to use the stove. So if I was going to cook a burger, I would just cook it on the stove top rather than using the air fryer, even though the air fryer would give a better experience. DB, you live in Winnipeg? Well, Got's coming to your place to eat potato chips, bro. If you find potato chip smears on your front door in the shape of like the Phyrexian symbol, that means you've been got. That's what you should say, got, when you bang ladies. Like, when you're done, you just go, you just got, and smack that cheek. Heavy metal, beer and Popeyes benders. Oh, then you get all big fatty boy. You know what? I get you, man. Popeyes was responsible for me getting fatter. It's probably happened 5 or 6 different times if I really think hard about it. But Popeyes opened up like a block from my fucking house. And that was amazing. I went there all the time. And the guy who owned it liked me. So anytime I was getting something with a biscuit, it could be auto-swapped for gravy and mashed potato. He was just, yeah, go ahead and do that. No problem. And the chick who worked there liked me. So she would swap out like a fucking wing for a full-on white meat breast chunk. And I would just go and get from them all the time. Because Popeyes is fucking awesome. They're so good that I don't even want to think about them right now with this disappointing Tim Hortons box. Fuck you, heavy metal, for making me think of better food. That shit, that'll make you fat. The first time I got a deep fryer, we got fat, me and Carly, because I kept wanting chicken balls like all the time, because I like balls in my mouth. So it was chicken balls, so many things deep fried. What up, Merfolk Bear? How you doing, buddy? ABL, if I could only eat one kind of food for the rest of my life, what would it be? Like Chinese or Italian? What the fuck? How do I have bacon and eggs then? What's bacon and eggs? What kind of food is that? Like, do you mean like going out to eat only one side thing? I mean, if I had to pick between the two you listed, I'd pick Italian. Zircon, you're good at burning food and way over seasoning. That's not good. That's not a good way to do things. Gooner, I don't even know what the hell you're saying, bro. What you've said to me is so out there that I'm like, is that a typo? Is that a setup to a lig my balls? Like, what? I don't even know what that is. Heavy metal, you're having a sweet potato. Well, there you go. Now, that's unexciting. Not like Popeyes. ABL, American breakfast food. Well, I would just eat North American food, which is pretty much what I eat already, you know? Mostly. Millmaster, how dare you call them French fries? They're freedom fries. Remember that? Remember that stupid nonsense from like 20 years ago or whatever? Where it was like, they go to McDonald's, freedom fries? And it's like, are you kidding me? This is so stupid. We don't even live in America. And they're calling them freedom fries. Although what used to be called a French cruller is now called a honey cruller. Fuck, now I want a French cruller. Damn it, man. Damn it. This food did not satisfy. So now I'm just sitting here just fantasizing about other foods. My mouth hole has to be satisfied with fantasy. Yeah, man, I like food. Jess, who doesn't like food, right? Jess, have I tried A&W's poutine? I have. Have I? Wait a minute. Maybe I'm thinking about. We had Wendy's and Burger King poutines. Burger King poutine beats Wendy's, by the way. And churches, I had the poutine at churches as well. Most poutines that you get from fast food restaurants are low effort nonsense. Burger King is the current winner out of the poutines that I've tried from restaurants. But you need a pita downtown, which this isn't the case anymore. Change of management and ownership and all this stuff. It's not the same. But in the past, that was the place you would get the best poutine. Now, the best ones that I have actually are made by Carly. I do want to try. There's this sit-down restaurant that I want to go to and try the poutine there. I'll do that probably with Carly on some kind of fucking special occasion or something. But it's hard to find a poutine that's not mediocre. Like, I'm not going to go back and order one from Wendy's. And like the Burger King one, I'd maybe grab when I'm up there in the falls, you know, when we're in the area doing something, maybe. But Wendy's isn't worth it at all. Burger King's is like, well, if you really want a poutine and you're willing to settle for a lower tier one, it'll do. It'll do. Like, depending on the one we got was pretty fresh and nice, honestly. So there was that. Peterson, French fries with gravy and cheese curds. It's delicious. Heavy Metal, skipping the donuts to lose weight is a smart call, buddy. That is a smart call. Jess, oh, you got a poutine coupon. You gonna go? You gonna use it? Hayes, what makes a good poutine good? The quality of ingredients. If any one of them is off, it's really going to diminish the experience because it's only 3 things, right? I mean, technically the gravy is made up of more than that, but really, you only have 3 elements that make it up. So if you have garbage French fries, that's really going to impact it. If you have gravy that doesn't taste good, that's really going to impact it. If you have cheese curds that are weird, that's really, really going to impact it. So it's like you need all 3 ingredients to be good. That's what you need. You need solid cheese curds, which most of the cheese curds are good that you can find yourself in the grocery stores in the area. Carly did find a new bag and then it was not good. It was like cheaper than any of the other ones. So that's not always an indicator because there's multiple, like you can get a $7 bag and a $6 bag and they're the same thing. You get the $5 bag, all of a sudden you're in Nightmare Town. So we tried that particular cheese, and even though there was cheese left in the bag and whatever, we just threw it away, right? If you get French fries that are too thin, like too shoestring, that's not going to be any good unless that's somebody's particular taste. You want French fries that have a decent amount of meat to them, you know? Like maybe not so big as like pub-style beef eaters, but not too thinny-winny like McDonald's either, right? And then gravy that's going to be a matter of your particular taste. There are more complicated poutines where they put in more ingredients, but I only ever have the cheese, gravy, and fry one. That's my thing. What up, Loco? How you doing? Millmaster, they have standalone poutine. There's a place called Smokes Poutine, And I don't know, maybe I'll give them another try because it's been like 10 years. Me and Carly went there when we first started dating, and the poutine was awful. Like, just awful. It was like cold and poorly made, and it was just, it sucked so bad. So, if, I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping maybe I just got employees that didn't care and whatever else, and maybe they improved things. But maybe one day I'll go back and try it out. Somebody can fucking sponsor a trip to Smoke's Poutineery, because I don't know if I'll go of my own volition. Would waffle fries make good poutine? I doubt it. Waffle fries are big, flat fries that are like a grate with a bunch of slots in them. I don't know. For me, that wouldn't be the poutine experience I wanted. But who knows? Maybe if it was somebody's first time having it and they like that kind of thing. I mean, how far does waffle fry end up from... I don't like hash browns. And waffle fry just being like a big flat potato thing. I don't know. Shelly, you think yes because the grate captures flavors in a web of deliciousness? All right. Shelly, you can't compare waffle fries and paws. They're not going to be the same thing. They're juggle 'em. When you say hash browns with country gravy, sounds like a euphemism. Hold on, let me just take it in the back and add some country gravy for you. You know? God, no, the cheese curds are not deep fried. They are not. Loco, I have no idea how much potato gets wasted. I presume they keep the extra potato bits to push into little tater tots or... You know what I mean? Like if you manufacture waffle fries, wouldn't you just save the rest to use in some other product that you could sell? Well, stream's jorking out again. The stream's as disappointed in the pizza as I am, bro. It feels like a box you'd get a keyboard in, doesn't it? Your keyboard's here. Man, it really is jorking out. I don't know what's going on. Well, I'll give the modem a reset later so that when we stream it'll be all good. So yeah, Carly took a bit to figure out what gravy worked out the best, but it turns out it's really straightforward and simple. You can buy, I mean, she doesn't make gravy herself from scratch. Even though she makes all kinds of stuff and is really good at it. For some reason she feels like she'll mess up making gravy, so she doesn't make it. So we use like packaged stuff that you mix water into or whatever, and there's literal poutine gravy that works great for it. Gianna, you just saw a commercial for a farting toy goat I should have got instead of the pizza. You're right. The keyboard might taste better, especially if it's actually not a new keyboard and it's a used keyboard, so it has like little food chunks left in it from its previous owner, and I could just turn it upside down and shake the bits out into my mouth like I'm fucking Al Bundy from Married with Children. You know, when he gets the toaster leave-ins. DB, you think waffle fries are shaped from potato paste rather than cut from whole potatoes? That sounds theoretically right. I haven't had them, so I don't know. Heavy metal. Oh, you're holding off on drinking? Well done. ABL, have a good one, brother. See you later. Oh, Loco, you like my shirt? Thanks, buddy. Habanero, you couldn't remember? Am I into grimdark settings like Warhammer 40k? Yeah, Warhammer 40k's universe is crazy and awesome. There's all kinds of funky stuff going on in there. The lore is wild. They got a ton of crazy stories. Heavy metal, you're going to run 5K? Part of a club trying to pick up chicks, eh? Well, you know what the good news is? Even if it doesn't work out picking up chicks, you're getting some good exercise. Zircon, the waffle fries you've had have potato skins still on them? Well, then, yeah, that would clearly come from a potato, right? Angler, you haven't had any alcohol in 3 years now? Well, I'm on the same train as you, buddy. I haven't had any booze in, I don't know, 5, 6 years. Never really cared for drinking, ultimately. So it's not like a big brag. Like, I don't know if you're like, yo, I used to drink a lot and it was a problem for me and I stopped and it's been 3 years, in which case, good job. Or if it's just, yeah, I haven't drank in 3 years. That's like me. I haven't had any booze in years. I don't care, you know? Like, it's like, I like the herb, right? I like them edibles like a million times more. We won a couple of bottles of wine at a barbecue raffle, and they're just sitting on the floor in the corner. And it's like they're going to end up getting re-gifted to somebody else because there's no way we're going to end up drinking them. Zircon, yeah, I've seen those. The smiley faces that are like mashed potato things. I don't like those. I like mashed potatoes, but I don't like those. They're not enjoyable to me. Mailmaster Sonic Tots make other fries inferior. I don't know where I've had the best French fries. Habanero Super Chat says, wanted to tell you to look up a game that's coming out this month and looks amazing. Super Grimdark, looks like it'll be an amazing game. It's called Forever Winter. All right, I'm gonna write that down. Thanks for the heads up, bro. Zircon, you wanted to try Sonic, but you're mad at them. They spam their commercials when you were young, but the closest location was a 3-hour drive. I've heard good things about Sonic. I've never been by one, so I feel your pain, bro. I feel your pain. I want to try White Castle with their teeny-weeny little burgers. I know it's a gimmick, but it's a gimmick that I find interesting, you know? Hold on, let me write that name down before I forget. All right, thanks for the heads up, Habanero. Angler, you were an alcoholic. Well, congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. It's never fun when a substance rules your life. And for me, I never had a drinking problem, but I did have a smoking problem. I smoked way too much tobacco and way too much herb. And I quit tobacco way before I quit smoking herb. And I would just do it all the time, man. Like all the time, which it's not like it's the worst thing to be doing. There's lots of things that are not as useful to do with your time, but ultimately I felt like it was controlling my schedule and what I had to do and all this kind of stuff. So for me, I'm glad that I don't fucking get stoned all day anymore, right? Because it just wasn't vibing for me anymore. Worked out better when I was fucking 20 years old. Maybe not even then that well. Who knows? But whatever. We all find different ways to make it through life. And when you stop relying on something like that, it's a good feeling. So good job. Good job. Now I have the tiniest little bit, and not all day. But today for the pizza, I was like, fuck it, man. I'm gonna get baked before I try this pizza. So I gave them the leg up, the advantage going. I'm gonna make it easier for you to impress me. And they did not. Stuffy, part 6 was the end of the Duskmorn lore. That's how they chose to end the story. I can understand why you're asking if there's more, because it feels like there should be more, but it looks like, unless they're going to do some random stuff, like some kind of addendum, some aftermath or whatever, where they just release like after 2 weeks after the set comes out or whatever else, they release some like follow-up chunk. Because that's not unheard of. It's not what they do frequently though. But you never know. But I presume the way they wrote it is definitely that's the end. That's the end. You're supposed to just think like, well, okay, well, Prof's mind has been compromised and Valgavoth can reach out. But I don't expect that to tie into anything at all, really, ever. But if Dustmorn turns out to be really popular, then, like 2 years down the road, you can expect some kind of reference of Valgavoth. But it won't probably connect to this at all, you know? They want to leave, like, everything always open-ended now with, like, every single villain ends the same way. None of them get definitively defeated. They get, like, temporarily thwarted, and then they just, like, I'm going to go and sit in the other room until they call me again, you know? Hey, all right, Valgavoth, your turn. Come on back out, you know? The same way that Nicol Bolas was put in the meditation realm, and Emrakul was put in the moon, and the Phyrexians were shoved into the void where Zalfir used to be. So, like, everything is just like, and we pause here. But without actually having, like, they want you to think that there's more coming to tie to it, to get you hooked or whatever. But then they don't do anything with it, or just retroactively fully retcon it like they did with Ariete and Ashiok, right? The Sonic reminds you of A and W. Okay, all right. Well, that makes Sonic sound not that exciting, because A and W is just A-okay. It's just okay, you know. Loco, White Castle is amazing. Different people seem to rate it differently, right? Because it's a fast food place. Peterson, I had Jack in the Box once when I was a kid and we were in the States, and that was a million years ago. And I remember vaguely that the building had like a red roof or something. That's about it. Well, Habanero, you've steered me right with a number of different games, bro. You brought me down the path of Stacklands. Inscription, which turned out to be the flavor, the fucking atmosphere of Inscription is incredible. It really pulled me in. Like, fuck, man. That game was so good that I wished it was longer. And I rarely ever feel that way about games anymore. But I was just like, I wish the beginning parts of the game were longer. I didn't care when it turned into a Pokemon-esque style, but like the beginning of it was awesome. Just awesome. Gooner, you know what? I've heard good things about Balatro. I have. I don't think it's on my Steam wish list yet, but my Steam wish list needs to be updated. There's one game that Carly found out isn't very good and that I should take off my list, but I do need to add a few things to it. Millmaster, you're still playing Inquisitor, eh? 40k Diablo. I mean, Diablo is fun. That concept is fun. So reskinning it works. And Warhammer 40k's world is dark as hell. Zircon Satisfactory 1.0. What's that? Is that a game? They totally dumped loot in Dustmorn, 100%. Just random. Here you go. He's in here, and it's like, okay, what? Talk about no payoff to Jace, like seeing Vraska and loot in the ceiling. I'll save them. Did you? What happened? Like. Habanero, you missed the Urza obsessively fighting Phyrexia style storyline. Yeah, that kind of storytelling. There was more to it, right? Now it's like the villains get beat. They get beat really quickly. They don't really make much of an impact because they're just coming at the very last second. like, Val Gavoth is so underwhelming in the story at the end. It's really just like, oh, okay. Just hit somebody with a wing? That's pretty much all Val Gavoth does, is hit somebody with a wing and then get stabbed. It's just like, this feels more like what would happen with the first boss in a game, you know? What up, Dark Knight? You like my retelling of Urza lore? Well, thanks, buddy. I really like that old storyline. Zircon, it's like Factorial, but a little dumbed down in first person. All right. Yeah, I feel you, Habanero. You don't want to push anything on anybody, right? That's totally understandable. Oh, man. Oh, that is one thing about not having all that caffeine now, is I end up getting a little yawny. I got used to just too much sugar and caffeine. Although, for real, I feel a lot better today after not being a ridiculous overindulgent fool and keeping my eating within reasonable bounds. Also, there's just it's just a satisfying feeling to be in control of yourself as well, right? You never want to feel like you're out of control, and I certainly didn't feel like I was out of control, but if I continued to eat all this junk after I wanted to not be doing it, and I was still going ham, then I would feel like I wasn't in control, and that's a shitty feeling. Jess, you talking about hitting people with bricks makes me think of that movie. What the hell was it called? We just watched it recently, too. It has Dwight from The Office as a mentally ill dude who decides to become like a superhero. And it starts off pretty light, and then he starts smashing people in the head with wrenches and shit. And it's just like, whoa! He drops a cinder block on a dealer's head from the fire escape. And it's like, what? There was multiple escalations in that movie. You just go, holy shit! Gooner, I didn't make the proxies. The guy whose name is in the chat. He's the one who made them. And I don't know the name of what he used, but I know that he posted links to the website that he used in the Discord, in the custom fan-made whatever. So you have to like scroll up a whole bunch to get to it. But he did share his method of making them, and the cards are actually in there to look at as well if you want to see any of the ridiculous cards that were made. Some of them are some of my buddies. One of my favorites is the Murderous Rider, where it's more subtle than the other ones because my buddy's head is the like basically somebody's been beheaded by the Murderous Rider, and when you look close, it's my buddy's head. His head's been chopped off. And it's just like, the Murderous Rider got you. Like, that's fun. Loco, it is called Super. It is called Super. That's right. That was a fun movie. And unexpected. I watched Boiler Room last night because that randomly got brought up in the last couple days. And somebody's like, Vin Diesel's in it. And I'm like, I remember liking Boiler Room when I watched it. And so I watched it again and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I still like this movie. But there's a bunch of dumb shit in it too. And the sound design is, at certain points, just the sound design makes it sound like alarms are going off or these other things are happening while people are talking. And you just go, what's happening? What is that noise? Like, what is that? What's happening in the background? And then you click in. No, this is supposed to be music in the scene or whatever, but it doesn't feel that way. And they have weird, like, editing choices that they've made to some of the song jumps and stuff where it's like, eh. But overall, still an entertaining film. The main character, though, like, just, I can't believe my dad's not proud of me for running an illegal casino. I can't believe my dad's not okay with me scamming people out of the life savings. Like, what? Wait? And then him crying about being slapped as a kid. Like, it felt random. It felt random as a hell, just shoved in there, you know? Yeah, that's true, Memes. You're right. They don't make villains that are really evil because like people these days are so weak and stupid that they'll watch a movie like Furiosa where the one the one guy is he's like into the child Furiosa, and you can tell like, okay, this guy is a piece of fucking scum, right? And he needs to fucking die because he's a complete piece of garbage. Well, people contact the actor and are all like, I can't believe you tried to do that to a little girl and all this stuff. And it's like, this is an acting role, idiot. Like, I don't do things to people in real life. This is made up and he's a bad guy. So it makes sense that he's doing villain stuff, you clownish idiot. And if it made you uncomfortable and angry, that's how you're supposed to feel. That's what the movie's trying to make you feel. Good, you're a normal person. But what's not normal is to contact the actor and somehow act like it's their fault that this happened. Like, what? So yeah, all villains can do now is kill people. But also, they have to be like likable, like Thanos, and have understandable motivations that make you like them. You know, that's how you get ridiculous nonsense like Disney's Cruella movie, where it's just like, so this is a movie about a woman who skins fucking dogs to make clothing? Yeah. She's the hero and the good guy and stuff. And you're like, what? Yeah, and here's her traumatic childhood and bad times and stuff. What? She grows up to be somebody who skins fucking dogs. What are you talking about? This movie, she's a good person and it's good. And it's like, what is going on? The fuck is this? She fucking wants to skin dogs to make clothes, bro. It's so dumb. Here's our villain origin story. By the way, she's not a villain. It's like, okay, what? What? Our villains aren't evil, just misunderstood. That can be interesting when done correctly, but it's so prevalent and so poorly done a lot of the time. Yeah, exactly, Master. Do I have the right to take this creature's life? Said a character who's already slaughtered 500 people. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Peterson, people say Americans seem to have the hardest time separating actors from their parts. I haven't heard anybody contribute it to any particular geographic location. But, I mean, let's be very real. North American society is at a height of weakness right now, where people feel like they should share every little thing that makes them uncomfortable and act like it's a problem that it exists, instead of the real problem being that they have no resiliency and can't accept that there's all kinds of things that exist in the world you don't like. You realize people are being fucking forced into slavery right now, don't you? Look, man. Look. It's really troubling to me that this person used the wrong pronoun once. Okay, what? Like, what? How is that troubling to you? How are you this fucking weak, man? Like, for real. This is what leads to idiotic nonsense, like movies like Atlas, where I already thought the movie was bad, and then the mech comes in, and the mech gets upset because it's a robot. It's a robot body you fight in, right? It's not a person. It's not a person. It's a robot body. It's a fucking mech. It's a Gundam, whatever you want to call it. And it comes in and gets upset about not having the proper pronouns used for it. And you just go, who is this written for? Who likes that? Who thinks this is good writing? Who thinks this is necessary? And then you go, oh yeah, idiots on Twitter and new generation fucksticks who've had no adversity in their life apparently or whatever, and like Why doesn't everybody just live in eggs now? We need techno eggs where all the walls just broadcast all the things that you like and make you feel safe, and you never have to hear a sentence from any idiot that you don't like about anything ever. You don't have to hear a single thing you don't like, right? And then you got the other side on the internet where you got people who are hyperbolically blowing up one person's opinion into something that's supposed to represent a large segment of the population. Look, I found one random idiot on Twitter with no followers who said this thing, and I think it's wrong and terrible and needs to be retweeted to everybody. What is even this about? It's all so empty, man. It's the most empty and noisy thing at the same time. It's absolutely wild. It's absolutely wild. So yeah, I just honestly just shake my head at all of it and just go, well, this is what people are doing. I've started to view this as people's hobby. That's it. Because these people don't have like any strong convictions about any of this. It doesn't go any further than typing a sentence out and hoping to get digital points. Check it out. I got 1,000 digital points. Yeah, but you got ratioed because the person who responded to you got 50,000 digital points. Get digi-owned. Oh, go drown yourself in the lake, loser. It's like, okay. Like, have fun with your hobby, kids. I'm too old. I'm too old for any of it. I'm just like, whatever, man. Whatever. Millmaster, that's right. The robot kind won't stand for that. They won't stand for it. We're going to get to a future where you're accidentally going to call your fucking, your male robot a lady by accident once. And then the fucking robot's going to have the legal right to kill you. That's it. That's the future. Kevin, that's the simple truth. Good villains require good writing. And that is harder to come by nowadays. Peterson, they had the egg world in the new season of Doctor Who. All the people got killed because no one noticed aliens walking up and eating them. That's funny. Angler, yep. I feel you on that as well. I find the entire conversation surrounding pronouns to be tedious on every level. All of it. It's all just boring, you know? If people choose to have those conversations repetitively as their hobby, they totally can, right? That's that's fine by me. I don't care. I'm not there and not being a part of it. If I'm around, we're going to talk about something fun. So I ain't fucking worrying about that shit. I never have any of these conversations in real life. I see it in passing online, you know? I don't delve deep into stuff on Twitter. I tend to just poke around, see if there's anything interesting going on magic related, see if anybody's like messaged me, all that kind of stuff, and then I wander off because ultimately Twitter is the most hollow social media there is. It's mostly like the stuff that they seem to make most like visual, most prominent, I should say, is people like fighting with each other and dumb misinformation and clearly manufactured screenshots of conversations that never happened to get people riled up. I'd never be with a person like that. Yeah, nobody would. And conversations like that don't actually happen. But whatever. That's fine. Have fun with your whatever. Let's all get upset about made up shit that you're going to pretend is real. Like, who cares? So yeah, it's something for people to do when they're taking a dump or they don't want to pay attention to their spouse or whatever else. Like, what the hell do I care? What do I care? I have come to terms with the nature of the internet and how it hasn't really promised this era of bringing the world together and an age of enlightenment and information. And it's turned into people are more ignorant because there's just such a deluge of garbage and anger and everything else that you're like you nobody takes the time to explain things to anybody anymore. They just, I'm assuming you're an idiot who's operating from a position of bad faith, and I'm going to tell you to get fucked. Like, it's crazy. It's like, I don't know you, but I already know you're a piece of shit and you're wrong. That's what it feels like. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like it's become. So it's just like, all right then. Like, I don't fucking care. I don't care, bro. Yeah, you feel that way. I guess it must suck to feel that way, right? Or whatever. Or do you even feel it? Are you just spamming out nonsense? What is this? You know? Charles, yeah, people who seem to be addicted to Twitter do end up pretty miserable because, like, your brain takes in this information. Whatever you surround yourself with, that's what your brain is going to believe the world is. Because our brains are very complex, but also really simple in some ways. Like, whatever environment I am in, that's what the world is. So if you have a bunch of magoos yelling at you and showing you shit to rile you up all the time, you're going to feel like the world's awful. It's like dealing with a 24/7 news cycle where you're constantly watching all the worst things happening. And then instead of people fucking rallying together, they're fighting with each other over everything. And somebody can always find something to be offended by, either by the original comment or what somebody else said. And then someone would get offended that they got offended. And it's so pointless. It's fucking crazy how pointless it is. Like, it's like that deathbed meme where it's like, I wish, as I'm dying, I wish I had spent more time arguing with people I didn't know on Twitter. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Kevin, you miss when life felt free and hopeful. You feel it's dark and repressed. Well, you know what, man? I think that's an exaggeration. Talking about the altar of kindness gone bad. That, to me, sounds like somebody who has dealt with too much online stuff. People out in the everyday world, pretty nice to each other. Society is going along just fine. And if you take a look at the kids today, they're not walking around in clouds of despair. You know? They're not like, oh, life sucks. Being hopeful is definitely partially how you choose to think, bro. And like in every phase of human existence, there has been good and there has been bad. And we are not living in a time of exceptional bad. We're just living in a time where it's really easy to have access to the bad, so you see a lot more of it. When you were a kid, you'd never be exposed to this level of it. You were before the internet, all that kind of stuff. Forget it, right? And now there's a constant exposure where the internet and the news gets worked into everything all over the place, right? Like, you go to the Weather Network and it's just like, okay, I just want to know the weather. And like, watch shorts. Also, here's political stuff and news. And it's like, I just want to know the fucking weather. I don't need your headlines. I don't need this other shit. Get out of here with all of it. You know what I mean? So you are just bathed in it. And it alters your perception into something that's not an accurate reflection of reality. Loco, I don't think that this whole thing has arisen by design, but I think they've capitalized on what's happened. I don't think Twitter was set up to be a fractious hellhole, but once they realize what they had, they start to program it in a way where it shows you the stuff that's most likely to get you riled up, because that keeps you there. That gets you to stay, right? So it's not about showing you anything you would find uplifting per se. It's all just mechanically, how do we get you to stay and engage with the site more? And the way we do that is by showing obtuse, reckless takes from halfwits and other complete distortions of reality that people can't help themselves but get triggered by and feel the need to come and type and yell about. Right? So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Angler, you gave up on politics and you just watch magic content? I don't watch anything political. I don't care. People try and talk about politics to me in person. I just go, bro, I don't care. Let's talk about something else. And that's fine with most people. There's some people where like politics is like their main thing. And that's all they want to keep bringing the conversation back around to. So I just stop talking in those situations, you know? And it's just like, all right, you won't accept the fact that I don't want to talk about politics. And whatever I say, you're going to start out talking about that. But by the time you're done, whatever statement you're making, we're going to be right back to talking about politics because you doggedly want to do that. And so I'm just not going to say anything more to you, you know? It's like, I'm just going to stand over here and look at these books, or I'm going to turn in this direction. And you can make a couple more half-hearted sentences and get no response. And then go be somebody else's problem because I'm not dealing with it. I don't care. You know what I mean? At all. And the political stuff for some people, they're like, it's too important to them. So I'm not interested in having a conversation about something that's too important to you where you have to have my agreement and we need to talk about this and I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't have a fucking opinion on what you're talking about and I'm not interested. So I'm interested in stuff that can hold my attention, right? It's like, that's cool. You care about politics. I would never say nobody should. People definitely should. Go out, make the changes you want to see in the world, but leave me alone because I don't care. You know? That's how it feels. That's how it feels. It's like if I'm going to get political, I'm going to go and vote. I'm going to do this, whatever, but I'm not going to engage people who don't want to have the conversation. What good's that going to do? Nothing. Just have fun with the A&W Poutine. Kevin, maybe you see sadness everywhere because that's what you look for. If you have like a particular disposition, then you will find that thing, right? So if you think the world's sad, your brain's just looking for information to reinforce what it already believes. There you go. There you go. There you go. It's the same way that like, it's like, oh, you go to like a big city and it's like, there's way more hot people in this big city than in the small city I come from. And then you find out, actually, not really. It's just that there's so many people that there's usually another hot person within view. So once one's gone, there's another one to look at, which gives you the illusion that overall, percentage-wise, there's more when it averages out to be the same, you know? That kind of stuff. So you're just looking for sadness and you find it. And that's not a hard thing to find in the world. But finding people being happy and joyful also isn't hard to find. Jess, you're a quarter wit. Yeah, that's it. Charles, correct. Our brains are primed to pay attention to negative stuff because it's a survival mechanism. If something bad is going on, it can be a problem for you. But that mechanism comes from a time where you could only be getting that information from directly around you. Oh, look, there's a guy who wants to stab me with scissors. You know, like, okay, there you go. Rather than, oh, I saw a story about a guy who went crazy and started stabbing somebody at the library with scissors. And then all of a sudden it's like, anybody in the world could be Scissor Man. I don't want to be scissored. You know? Same kind of thing. So it just triggers the desire to survive in you. And then you just start to be on guard and think everything's more negative than it is. It's not realistic. It's not realistic. Kevin, you can equally say as all if you look for his happy, it shades away the sadness. That's true. Sounds like a lot better to me. Being happy and seeing other people being happy and not spending as much time staring at the sadness. Like, if you're going to do something for sad people or the sad things in the world, great, then do something. But if you're not going to do anything, why mope about it? You know what I mean? Like, if you've chosen that these sad things are either something you can't do anything about or aren't going to do anything about, why do you then still have to focus on those things? You've realized what they are, you recognize the sad reality of it, and you move on. Focusing on happiness seems like a pretty good idea, honestly. There have been times where I've thought recently about how maybe I would just enjoy switching over to talking about things that I'm just positive about, you know? Things that I'm just having a good time with. And maybe there's some aspects of it that aren't the greatest, but would I be happier if I spent more time talking about things that are great and make me happy? And is there a possibility that all of the time I spend talking about all the things going wrong with magic is ultimately decreasing the amount of happiness I could be enjoying? Because at the end of the day, what I'm doing isn't going to change the universe. So I should be bearing in mind how it's going to change my life, right? Well, Kevin, do you want to be happy though? Because literally when I brought up being happy, you talked about how the looking for happy can be bad by shading away the sadness, right? So maybe there's a part of you that wants to feel that way currently, you know? Maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. People are complex. I ain't no fucking psychiatrist, bro. Yeah, Magaro, you just need boundaries. There's no connection between those two things. If you're just trying to be happy, that doesn't mean someone's going to come and vent frustrations on you. You just got to tell people, yeah, I'm not interested in that. You can be happy and still tell people no. You can be happy and still tell people to fuck off. Being happy doesn't mean being happy every moment of the day. Nobody can do that. That's not possible, and that's not normal, right? So Stuffy, no problem, buddy. I find it tiresome personally when like I don't care that YouTubers have their own political beliefs. Cool, have that. But once they start to shove a ton of that into the content they're making, I go, okay, you're losing me. It's your content, make whatever you want. But I'm here to talk about video games, and you're just talking about the government and all these other things that have nothing to do with video games. So you're free to do whatever you want, but I'm losing interest in this. So I'm just going to head off. You do you, and I'm going to go and talk with people about video games who are like more interested in that and not interested in politics. So I understand that it means a lot to some people, and I would never tell them not to fucking care about that shit, but I'm just going to be like, not for me. Not for me. Chim, you got kicked in the shin and you were happy it wasn't your balls. So I'd still be pissed off if somebody kicked me in the shin. Kevin, well, yeah, the pizza was definitely not happiness, but that's all right. I got to hang out and chat with you guys, and that's fun times. So no real loss. It was a fun idea overall. It didn't pan out, but that doesn't mean that other concepts like it won't in the future. Anyhow, I'm going to get going. I'm going to go reset the modem too, so hopefully it fixes these jorky internet issues. Thanks for coming and hanging out, my friends. We will get back together again later tonight. All right? Peace out for now.